Mercury and Libra. So Mercury just slided his ass right in Libra. And of course, Mercury is the way we think, communicate, analyze, and of course, logical thinking. And of course, being aware consciously of how we interact with individuals on a day-to-day basis. Now, when Mercury slides his ass in Libra, this is an area in a space where we're going to be thinking and communicating and harmonizing in a more balanced manner, which means the way we think, communicate, analyze, we're going to be in individual shoes right now. For me, we're going to be basically putting ourselves in situations where we're going to be coming from someone's points of views and points of references, where we can basically bring the scales, weigh these things out. And of course, this is going to put us into a position where we may basically be working too hard to these areas because of course, remember, Venus falls in Virgo, which is also sharing this perspective with Mercury. So of course, there's going to be some gifts to work on, and of course there's going to be some adjustments makings going on. Also, we're going to be having opportunities to love the way we think, communicate, harmonize, and interact with individuals. Also, we're going to basically be doing this in a status quo manner. We're also going to be doing this on a high magnitude when it comes to balance, equilibrium, and of course fairness. And of course, we can be basically pretty much bringing our home into the public, which means we could be catering and of course compromising with each other. Also, now if you're going to be in the situation of playing opposite energies, what's going to happen is the scales is not going to be weighed properly. Of course, when the scales is not weighed properly, this puts you into a position of being narcissist. And of course, this is basically bring back and erupt past trauma. So of course, Mercury and Libra, you're going to be thinking about the past, also past experiences, past interactions, and of course, you may be basically going to the extremes by getting someone's point of view and basically get in touch. Also, try not to put yourself into a position of going to the extremes of being too gullible and too out there to basically open your heart for individuals, because sometimes individuals will take advantage of you in this perspective, because you're going to be dealing with some misunderstandings too. It's going to be some all over the place type shit right now for me. But you're going to have Chiron, and you're going to have Mercury that's going to basically help you balance the scales and basically bring that collaboration together. So yeah, we're going to run down these shits in your houses, and of course, we're going to play out the interactions when it comes to your signs. So now, wherever you have Libra at in your house, these are the areas where you need to basically be thinking harmonious, thinking more compromising, thinking in a more caring way, thinking in a more balanced way, and of course, thinking in a more loving way. And of course, if you play the opposite roles, you could be basically bringing up past trauma, or communications and interactions could be about past trauma, or you could basically be a person that's basically creating this. Now, wherever you have Mercury at, these are the areas where you're going to experience the upheavals, the ups and downs. Basically, that's how it's going to play out. The ups and downs. This could be like the tower crashing. Boom. Everything could be either falling for the benefit of the doubt, or falling just cause. But these are the areas where you need to be aware of. Let's run it down. If you have Libra in the first house, the way you think, if you have Libra in the first house, the way you think, communicate, analyze, is going to be pretty much about self. You're going to be thinking about yourself right now. Try not to think too much highly about yourself and put yourself into these positions, because you can have a fall for grace where you was thinking so narcissistically. The lady was so good with you. She was so cool with you. And then, of course, you showed your ass. Brought another bitch to the crib. And, of course, you was being selfish. This can put you into a position of getting your ass killed, getting your ass harmed and hurt. And, of course, you can experience some setbacks. Try not to put yourself into that position. Also, if you have Chiron in the first house, you need to work on your self-motivations, aka work on yourself before you get into a relationship with anyone else. Because if you ain't putting yourself first, you got a problem on your hand, or communicating or interaction with people. Also, you have Venus in Libra too, so you're gonna be loving and compromising. It's gonna be like a conjunction going on soon when the degrees match up, if they match up. But of course, that ain't gonna happen. Also, if you have Venus in Aries, you're gonna be pretty much thinking oppositely when it comes to your passions, your energy. Also, if you have if you have Libra in the second house, you're going to be basically thinking about the things that you're valuing. Also, try not to put yourself into a position of waiting for others to basically make you value the shit you have. Just appreciate what you have, value what you have, and not put yourself into a position of thinking that you need someone to basically raid around or basically show that you have these things. No, Whatever you have, value that shit, feel me? And of course, put yourself into a position of not hating, not being around the bush. Try not to beat around the bush in these areas, feel me? And try not to wait around for individuals, feel me? Because you're going to be valuing the way you think right now. Of course, you could be doing this harmoniously or in a bad way. But of course, if you're doing this in a bad way, past experience can basically come appear to you when it comes to possessions and self-worth. Know your self-worth, basically. If you have Venus and Taurus, you're going to be basically, if you have Mercury and Taurus, you're going to be basically thinking misunderstood when it comes to the way you are practical, stabilized, and of course, compromising. Also, if you have, if you have Libra in the 3rd house, you're going to be pretty much thinking, compromising, and loving and caring about your surroundings. See, now, this is a situation where you're going to be put into situations where you can be very secretive, very behind the scenes, and of course, very out there when it comes to your surroundings. You could be basically tricking around during this time. Try not to put yourself into that area, because also you may be basically using people for their benefits during this time. Try not to put yourself into that position, because justice will be preserved, being knowing that we got Mercury and Libra. So be aware. Try not to be sneaky during this time. Also, if you got Mercury and Gemini, you're going to have the gift to communicate, analyze, and of course be mutable and adaptable when it comes to adjusting. Also, if you have Libra in the 4th house, you're going to be basically thinking and loving and caring about home, privacy, and family. This is going to be a situation where you need to, you're going to be basically learning how to love your status and what you're known for during this time, and not put yourself into a traditional witchcraft, which means you're basically out here loving and compromising with the wrong things and shit. And of course, you're not loving and compromising your way of seeing the world. That system that you're ran up under right now may not even basically be working. So you need to basically work more on yourself, self-love, and then you'll put yourself into a position of being better. Also, you can put yourself into a position of going to the extreme when it comes to loving and exhausting yourself during this time. Try not to do that. Also, if you have Venus in Cancer, you're going to be basically thinking, you're going to be learning how to think and love and open up when it comes to the way of catering to care and love. Also, if you have, if you have Chiron in the 2nd house, you need to basically know your self-worth. Chiron in the 3rd house, this is being more compromisational when it comes to your surroundings. As if you're on the bad side of the energies, where you need to work more on your Chiron. If you have Chiron in the 4th house, you could be the black sheep of the family. Either you was, or you can start becoming the black sheep of the family. Also, if you have Libra in the 5th house, you're going to be basically thinking and caring and compromising when it comes to your creativity and how you're expressing yourself. See, try not to put yourself into a position of being too narcissistic when it comes to expressing yourself. Individuals may not be liking that. Motherfuckers may be trying to set you up, poison you, and fucking do some crazy shit to you. So try not to put yourself into a position of being the ego right now. Try to be more compromising. Of course, if you start getting to your ego, past trauma about developing and expressing yourself, ego can basically display up. So be aware of that. Also, if you have Mercury in Leo, you're going to have opportunities to rise and fall, for me, when it comes to thinking and compromising right now. You can rise into sharing your ego with others, or fall by basically be uncompromising. Because, of course, Venus falls, the sun falls here, so yeah. Also, if you have Mercury and Libra in the 6th house, you're going to be basically thinking and loving and compromising about the things that you do on a day-to-day routine. And of course, you're going to have a lot of bad luck here and family issues. And of course, a whole lot of ups and downs, because Venus falls here. So that means you may be working hard on a routine, working hard on a goal, hard on a positioning, try not to overexhaust yourself or burn yourself out, because this could put you into a situation where you might be worrying about and compromising with the wrong shit, feel me? You may be in an illusion during this time. So, yeah, try not to do that. Also, if you have Chiron in the 6th house, you need to pretty much focus on your health, mental health at that. Mental health is very important. Focus on that right now. You'll be all right. Yeah, Mercury and Virgo, you're going to be making adjustments when it comes to loving, compromising, and, of course, being more cardinal. And, of course, you can adapt to these areas, which is not going to be a problem for me, because it's coming up with new ways to think, communicate, analyze, and, of course, attack all segments of the area. Also, if you have Libra in the 7th house, it's a conjunction right here. So this is going to be a situation where past experience can basically pop back up if you don't know how to have balance and compromisation when it comes to relationships. If you have this Chiron in the 7th house, relationship issues can basically play up or creep up during this time. Or you could be reminded of these things. Also, if you have Mercury in Libra, the spotlight is on your mind. If you have Libra in the 8th house, you're going to be basically thinking and loving and compromising about deep desires, or pretty much just put you into a situation where you can get lost into an illusion doing these things. Go to the extremes, overindulge in this shit. For me. Also, lost fortune can bring unsatisfaction. So you may put yourself into a position of thinking about something that you was pretty much in deep desires with, and you basically had a situation of losing these things. Try not to put yourself into that self-sabotaging energy, because this basically puts you into a position of having death, transformation, and secrets and things that can basically pop back up. Try not to do that. Mercury in Scorpio, you'll be seeing the other side of making adjustments when it comes to deeper ways of intellection or deep sexual ideas. Also, if you have Libra in the 9th house, you'll be pretty much thinking and loving and compromising about your experiences and your moral principles around this time. You could be very detached, very restricted, and of course, separated during this time. You may be wanting to separate yourself during this time to another land or to another domain and shit. You may be trying to separate from your surroundings or get in the way during this time if you have this position in your 9th house. Also, you may go to the extremes here of doing these things. Feel me? You may be on your spiritual guru shit. And of course, you only want to be around individuals that's willing to basically compromise with you. Also, you can put yourself into a situation having past trauma when it comes to your moral principles and your belief systems if you plant bad seeds. Also, Mercury and Sagittarius, you're going to have opportunities to overindulge and expand the way you think, compromise, and love. Also, if you have Libra in the 10th house, you're going to pretty much put yourself into a position of going to the extreme when it comes to thinking about your status, your career, and of course, loving these things. Now, this could be a situation where you can overindulge, and of course, you can run away your audience or your people that you're working with, because you may be putting yourself into situations where taking things too serious. These things don't even need to be basically taken that serious. So you may have to pretty much try to find balance, not be too harsh in these areas, because you can basically go on well to the extreme and try not to go to extremes, because you be caring too much about these things. Sadness can play up and all kinds of shit. You may put yourself in a situation where you're not wanting to be open to individuals due to past trauma when it comes to being seen and your status. Also, if you have Chiron in the 10th house, it's pretty much dealing with self-worth when it comes to your status. Also, if you have Mercury in Capricorn, you're going to basically learn how to compromise when it comes to thinking and compromising and relating to individuals extremely. Also, Libra in the 11th house, you'll be pretty much thinking about your quantities right now, thinking about your groups. So you may go to the extremes in these areas too, because you may be very rebellious, or you may basically be seeking attention, seeking to rebel, or trying to get your lick back during this time. If you may be experiencing some setbacks due to someone may be trying to bully you or fuck with you during this time. So yeah, or you may be experiencing these issues. Try not to, because you can have the gift to be fucked with or fuck with somebody, or be or taking care of them. Issues like that. You feel me? Some behind the scenes shit. Also, some secret haters can be hating. Also, try to watch out for these areas. Work more on being yourself in the crowd you be at with this Chiron in the 11th house. Also, you're gonna have Mercury in Aquarius, which you guys will have the gift to think, communicate, and have your own way of loving and compromising and relating. And last but not least, if you have Libra in the 12th house, you could be going to the extremes of trying to fix something, work on something, get into an illusion, try to basically put yourself into situations of getting with unstable individuals, or fucking having a dream that you think these individuals can basically work with your dream or work with your predecessors. You're going to be thinking about these things. And of course, there's going to be some ups and downs here too, because you may go to the extremes, maybe caring too much about somebody or something, or loving them too goddamn much and shit, feel me? But you may be experiencing situations where they can be betraying you, using you, and of course, playing with your heart, trying to allow these situations to play up. If you have Chiron in the 12th house, you're going to be basically dealing with separation energy, which means you don't want to basically be with individuals. You may be very gifted with how you express yourself on getting people back on their foot and on their track, but you may be in a situation of basically separating from these individuals just because you don't want to put yourself into that position of dealing with individuals. And of course, the way you trust and love, your heart can be basically pondering negative vibrations, which you don't even want to basically express. So these will play out into huge, humongous ways, trying to put yourself into that position. Also, Mercury and Pisces, you guys are going to be experiencing some misunderstandings when it comes to deep love and ways of compromising and relating with individuals. And of course, these are the energies that you're going to be experiencing with this Mercury and Libra. So be very careful, and of course, be cool.